Hey guys, welcome to Wakefield to Knottingley, episode number 21. Been a long time since episode 20, I think about a month or so I apologise for that. I simply haven't had time, unfortunately, to sit down, root build and do an episode all at once. I have had time to do a lot of root building, so there's going to be a lot of differences in here compared to episode 20. And I mean a lot, it's probably going to take us 10 or 15 minutes to go through what's changed since episode 20, to be honest. We will get round to building some stuff in episode 21, later in the video. So, something that is completely new in terms of the scene itself is this view at Wakefield Kirkgate. I had no scene of it all before. So what's happened since episode 20, whilst I just turn my cursor on, is that I've been changing foliage for one. So we had the VP trees in obviously before. Now I like the VP trees a lot. I love them. I think they're great. I think they're probably model wise the best ones out there, and certainly in winter by far the very, very best there is. There's nothing comes close to them in my opinion. But one thing I was experiencing, I just noticed when I was sort of flying around after episode 20, was the FPS seemed a little bit hit with the VP trees. And I decided I would just try on a quarter-mile section, cloning the scenery tile, and then swapping in DTG trees, and sort of swapping between the original tile with VP trees and the new one with DTG trees. And I found that I was getting a 30 to 40 FPS gain in most places. Sometimes it was actually even more than that. So I thought at that point, well, obviously it makes sense to swap the trees. There's no point in keeping them in, especially with such an FPS impact. So I swapped those out, and I've gone for DTG with a bias towards the Southampton to Bournemouth stuff, which is pretty nice. And the main thing it's gained, really, to be honest, is the sort of more vibrant green colours, because obviously the VP ones are pretty dark, and I understand there is an update to fix that coming in the future, so maybe that's something that'll change. Obviously I've committed to this now, and not Callum's committed to this as well, so we don't plan to change back. I'm very happy with how it's looking myself anyway, so I would have no reason to. Of course I'll still continue to use the VP trees in other places at times, so I really look forward to that update. So yeah, this is Wakefield Kirkgate. Obviously we've seen this before in previous episodes, but never seen it before with scenery. We've actually got scenery in here now. Ignore the building on the right over there, that's going to need replacing at some point. It is a custom asset, but it's a very old one. You see the actual walls disappearing. So that needs fixing obviously, but yeah, this is Kirkgate. In circa 2018 fashion. And what's basically happened since last episode is I've managed to get most of the scenery done. Basically right through from Pontefract to Wakefield. We're pretty much sort of at the point where it's almost done now. So yeah, you can see we've got most of the scenery in at Kirkgate. This station again, created by Callum. Pretty much the first big station he ever did. So quite pleased with how it came off. And I know many of you probably watching wanting some updates on Leeds to Manchester as well. We gave one of those updates on the Facebook page for On Track Simulation about 4 weeks ago. Not really much to say other than we were going to obviously do it as payware originally, and now it's a freeware route. And we've increased the amount of requirements and stuff like that. It came to the point where the amount of requirements was holding the route back. So obviously when you're doing payware, you're limited to what you can use. And we had a list of assets that was like over 150 long. And simply put, you know, it was going to take us forever to actually get anywhere with the route, because we were going to have to wait until it was finished to actually release the thing. We weren't going to do it in phases for a payware route. Not what we'd be doing. And especially when you're trying to do Leeds to Manchester, where exactly do you do a phase on that in a payware route? It's not something that you can really do. It's only 40 miles anyway. So yeah, we've gone freeware now, which has enabled us to unlock loads of new requirements, such as Southampton's above. Nothing particularly obscure. I know Tom loves to use obscure requirements here and there. There's nothing particularly obscure, really. It's mostly DTG stuff off Steam. There are a few of them, but there's nothing like UKTS packs or like that. We're not using that sort of thing, so don't worry too much about stuff like that. So you can see down here we've got loads of work that's been going on. This is the split level slow line just west of Wakefield Kirkgate, so it's lower down. This took ages to actually do these lofts here. Obviously the viaduct from Westgate needs to go in at some point, but we need a custom asset for it really to make it fit. We've got all sorts going on here. The banking is above, like I said, the slow line. This area took an absolute age to do. Now this is a little bit of detail I put in here. This sort of detail I wouldn't normally do, but every now and then I just like to create a little scene. And it's not finished, it needs to end paint and even a few more bits put in sort of thing. But I thought this would look quite nice with a train going over that bridge and stuff like that. So I created a little scene here. If you look at the next street, for instance, you see what I'm on about. It's basic in comparison, and that's because you can't really see the trains. So as you're coming from the cab, obviously you'll just see the pavement and the houses. I'm not going to go and faff about killing people's computers down here, putting every telegraph post in, when there's absolutely no point in doing that. And same when you get to the end of the street, it's very basic, because it doesn't need like obsessive detail down there. There's no point, other than if you want to like blow people's computers up. Got a signal gantry in here. This is a new signal gantry that's going in the common library. I think it's already in actually. Went in Midland Main Line update. It's an old style 2-track gantry that's been made. Yeah, it's been made for the South Western Expressways route that's coming out. The revamp of that. So yeah, we're actually, I said Wakefield tonight. Well, this is actually, I suppose, the Leeds to Manchester route that we're on here. Because it's not really anywhere near Wakefield, obviously. It's kind of anywhere near Knottingley. It's going towards Harbour Junction now. Again, these bridges were a bit of a nightmare to make. Initially, with Leeds to Manchester, these were actually down as custom assets because they were really difficult to do. And they're not exactly amazing underneath, but you drive the trains over them, not under them. So that's my simple answer to that. I'm going to try and change the track textures along here so it matches everything, I think. You will see they do actually change in a minute. So yeah, as I said, this is heading down towards Harbour Junction. There's another little scene here. So basically, wherever there's a clearing in the trees, I do try and create a little scene that you can sort of get a screenshot. You can go and nip out the cab. So if you notice, I've not bothered to finish the gardens there. I have finished them in this direction, obviously, because they're a bit bigger. But I always try and fit a little scene in most places where you can see it directly from the cab and you can see a clear view of the train. Another one here with the road stuff plonked around. The most obscure the requirements for these are probably stuff like these traffic lights and stuff, which are part of the marketplace route building packs that came out a few years ago. But yeah, you get the gist of it. So the scenery actually is complete more or less through to Thornhill LNW Junction, which is near Wakefield. But the tree swapping's only been done to Harbour Junction, so that's as far as we'll go in this direction. Then we'll fly back to Wakefield, and then we'll go have a look at the section to Pontefract, which is where we've seen a lot of work done in the last, I say it's about 4 weeks almost since the last episode. Hopefully I'm going to get 2 or 3 episodes done today as I'm videoing this on Sunday the 28th of February. As I do record this, take a moment, guys, to remember 20 years ago today was the awful fatal accident at Great Heck. So thoughts to the families of those that were involved with that and the friends as well. Very sad occasion 20 years ago today. So let's take a moment to remember those today, guys. Sorry, I just had to break off there from the recording, unfortunately. So yeah, we're just past Wakefield Kirkgate here, near Harbour Junction now. So again, this is another little scene with the works and stuff on the left there, where hopefully people will be able to get really good screenshots and stuff. You got Fawns Park up on the hill at the back there, and you do now have the custom Wakefield Cathedral that Will kindly made me for the route. So you can sort of see that dominates the view, and it's visible from a long way off as it is in real life. I would like to get City Hall also added in, because that's another big sort of landmark when you're coming into Wakefield. But we'll see about that. The cathedral for me was obviously the main one. But yeah, we got this, I guess it's some sort of storage yard as well as a factory. You got all sorts of bits just chucked in there. Place exactly as I could see from Google. This area, it's more or less finished, although it's not like mega finished. It's like everything's obviously still work in progress, because that's just green land. Got this car park placed here. And again, with these factories, I'm not going to go crazy. I'm not going to put any detail between these factories over here, because, again, if you're in cab over here, you're not seeing anything that's going on over there. There's no point. You might as well just, like, you could put a tree there for all anybody matter. It don't really matter. So the buildings never will be there. There might be some car park assets placed, but there'll be no, like, over here, obviously. I've got specifically placed clutter that's reasonably accurate to each building. This is the... I can't remember what the company name is. These lorries actually maintained just up the road from where I live. I can't remember the name of the company. You see them all over the country though, and it's one of the more notable Wakefield ones. I think, is it G's? Haulage? Have I just made that up? Complete brain fart at the minute. Anyway, we're going down here towards Harbour Junction. An area which was some really random speed limits. I know Josh will be watching this and he'll be thinking, here we go with the speed limits again, because I've been boring him to death with it. But you can sort of see what I mean in a minute when we get down to this really sort of poor speed limits left in. And I think it's because the middle lines are the old fast lines, the old freight lines, sorry. And they actually, you would think that this would be the slow and this would be the fast, but it's actually the opposite way around. This is the fast and this is the slow. And my assumption with that is when you get to Healy Mills, the middle two would have gone straight into Healy Mills yard and the outer two skirted the yard. And my assumption is that that's why they're called the fastest, the fast lines. Fastest, what am I about? So yeah, when you get here to Harbour Junction, look, it comes off there. In reality, obviously, it would have carried on this side. It's actually a 20 limit here. But on most lines, you'd obviously think, right, well, 20 limit, and then you'd assume that that would be normal 60 limit here from here then. No. It's 20 all the way from there, all the way to here. So all that section is 20. I don't know why the fast line is 20 all that way. It's 3/4 of a mile nearly. It just makes no sense, but anyway. Just thought it was amusing. And then you've got more speed limit, like speed sign oddities, such as this one, which is saying that it's obviously 40 on this line, because that's the slow line. Whereas the fast line's just gone to 60. This is just dropped from 60 to 40. It's like really weird way that it works. But yeah, you got all sorts of strange speed limits going on around Wakefield. There's actually, obviously, most cities and stuff these days are mostly exclusively modern speedboards, whereas Kirkgate is actually exclusively cutout signs. So the real old steam era signs, such as this 61 here. And at the station as well, I've not actually put in the junction speed signs because they're not there in real life. They don't actually have like the 25 limit across and left and right. They don't actually have them in. You've got these 40 ones because it's 40 through the station. You've got 40 there. I mean, that's actually a funny one. Is this junction's actually a 25-mile-an-hour junction? But the speed sign here for 40 is here. It should be, obviously, in reality, in modern standards. If this junction's 25, the speed limit should be here. But it's not. So I'll put it where it is in real life. And I'm not going to put the speed signs in for these junctions again because they're not there in real life. I will probably think about burying some so they appear on the hood, but sometimes that doesn't even work, to be honest. So, yeah, I'm not going to put signs in that aren't actually there. That was something for you guys to learn in route knowledge. I might actually do a video about route knowledge when we come close to the time. So yeah, here I also placed in all the cable trunking that goes under the rails. That took hours. There was an entire day spent just putting the clutter in between here and the viaduct down there a couple of weekends ago. So yeah, it's 25 then down the back. So we're going to peel off to the right here and go towards Knottingley. So we're actually about 15 minutes into the video or something after, we're finally going down the Knottingley line. Trying to get the wall to show up. You got the old Cobra sidings down here, but obviously we're focusing really up here on the main line. So you got the foot crossing for staff, and I guess that's, I mean, as daft as it sounds. So obviously you had the huge Healy Mills yard just here. When that closed, Healy Mills became that porter cabin. No word of a lie. That is Healy Mills now. So the DB drivers have for a few years signed on. I'm not sure if some of them if they moved over there or not. I can't remember, but certainly that was where DB drivers were signing on, as far as I'm aware. From the mighty Healy Mills to that porter cabin. So yeah, there's an official walking route that they can obviously take. I've done these lines. These lines are a bit weird. The sidings on the right. They actually have overgrown down at this end, but they're not. The actual signs themselves are clear, but then it gets overgrown as it gets towards the main line, which is really a weird way of it being, but it actually is. And I've tried to recreate the recent clearance of trees on the main line, so it's now grown back to bushes again on the triangle, sorry. whereas it had been cut back a couple of years ago, so you got new growth in the foreground with the trees and stuff in the background. Tried to make those all 2D so that they don't kill the FPS too much. On the right, I loved putting all this detail, and it took ages to do, but I really enjoyed doing all this detail so that from most angles you'll be able to get a really nice shot. As I said, it's overgrown down this bit, but then it isn't down there, or in the Cobra siding. So this is again the official walking route, I suspect, for DB drivers and possibly other drivers as well, because the freights, obviously most of them go around the curve. So when they're going around the curve, there's no point in being sat over there in Portic. I mean, they have to get over here somehow, so that's how they do it. But again, you can sort of see, as I was saying before, you got the Cathedral and you also got Primrose Hill Flats, and well, those are Primrose Hill Flats, those are just being reused. They're in the background for the city. They are slightly different in real life, but I don't think I'm going to get too upset about that. So yeah, this took quite a while to do because it's literally all lofts and bridges. There were no way I could have done this on an episode anyway, because this took me, I want to say, grand total about 20-30 hours to do this section, just because of how obsessive I got with doing it. But yeah, you sort of get the gist of it. Access road up there. This is an area where there was some factory stuff. It's all been knocked down. And then the line crosses the River Calder just outside Calder Bridge Junction, actually, this bit here. There's an old set of buffer stops as well on the left there. Just tried to put in as much detail as I can without killing the FPS again. I mean, I've got my settings really high. I'm running at 45 FPS, but I've tried putting my FX AA setting up to like 2x3 or something like that. It's really, it's 2 steps up from what I normally would have it, so it's killing FPS. Before that, I had 60 odd FPS around here. So hopefully people will be getting between 40 and 60 minimum. Before they obviously changed the trees, it was even lower than that. So again, you can see the view here. Hopefully it'll be nice for screenshots. You've got the elevator cable trough that goes over that bridge as well, plonked in. And then this is where the Wakefield steam shed was. Roughly 2018 spec, so before they started building houses, all on here now. You've got the factories on the right here. And then this is where the footbridge used to be into Wakefield steam shed, which is where my great granddad actually worked as drivers, dating back to like early 1900s. My granddad used to live in this estate here and obviously used to walk across this bridge every day, so quite an interesting area for me to be working on for a personal standpoint. So we're going down towards the curve now that leads up to Oakenshaw. This is down in Agbrigg, in the outskirts of Wakefield City itself. Again, I've not finished this bit, but it will be really basic detail away from the track. So you'll get the first 2 roads. I've even bothered to do the telegraph wires into every house, and I've actually split them as well so that you get. I've actually left one floating, bad mark. But you see what I mean? It's sort of splitting them away and stuff, so that it gives the right feel. But nothing too obscure. I'm going to probably put a bit more detail down that street, to be fair. But I don't want to go over the top when there's no real need to. I haven't finished this section yet. The road layout won't match real life either, because there's like loads of junctions and stuff here. We're simulating the railway, not the road layout, so not too fussed, to be honest. That's the old bridge that used to go around to Wakefield Power Station, which used to sit over there on the right hand side. And then this is coming now up the 50-mile-an-hour limit. This is Oakenshaw Cutting. So another area where I was able to use more bridges and stuff was this here. So you got the old line that used to link up to the Midland route. This is where the bridges are for that. So you can see the arch is actually higher on this side of Vessel because it's that line's higher. It's obviously been test fitted, but try and recreate that as best I can. They've got a cut in here then to Oakenshaw and the footbridge. Again, that's not an exact replica of the footbridge, but I'm not worried about simulating every footbridge to its exact look. So then this is again down by Oakenshaw. So this is the old Midland main line crossing over here now, the Monkton Breton branch. Now I swear that I put the signal in here. I must have had a TS crash or something, because I put the signal in here and I put the crash barrier on the side of that road, but it's not there, so obviously I must have had a dump on TS at some point. And then this is Crofton and West Junction. So that's where you can go to the right there. You end up at Airport Junction, you end up at Doncaster eventually as well. So here, again, detail's pretty basic in the middle, and the reason the detail here is pretty basic in the middle is because we've got to worry about the line that goes around the back of the houses over there. And this is sort of coming up to where we were working in episode 20 now as well, at Crofton Depot area. But it's all, this has all been done since episode 20. We've got the Redbeck station, Redbeck service station over there on the left. I could actually swap that garage out, to be fair, for a new JT one that we've got. But yeah, you get the idea. So what will happen when the Wafers are not in the route now, and the Leeds to Manchester route, because we're going freeware, it's all going to be one route. It was all going to be one route anyway, but it's sort of merging the phases and stuff that we're going to do in the village. So the first version, whilst we're at Crofton, I'll show you on the map what the first version will be. So the first version is likely to be Murfield, which is here, to through Healy Mills, through Wakefield Kirkgate, and then to Knottingley, which is over here. Ferrybridge Power Station is still to go in. That'll go in. Possibly, and I want to say probably, up to Milford as well, in version 1. And then Monk Breton will be in version 1 as well, down here. As well as the line from Wakefield Kirkgate to Leeds via Woodlesford and Sturton. And also, obviously, because I'm going to plan to go to Milford, the line to Castleford and then up to Pontefract Monkhill will be a part of version 1 as well. So we're still quite a long way off version 1, I want to say, but we're probably 80% done on this section, and then it's empty from just there into Leeds. And then we've got between 80 and 90% done on this section through to Pontefract. So we've got basically this bit, and this bit they've got nothing on. I've not got track at the minute. I've only decided that's the way it's going to go in the last few weeks. So obviously that's the plan now, is to focus on getting that to a finished standard, which we'll do in all due course. Obviously, we're not in any rush or anything like that. But as you can see, quite a lot's been done to actually get the thing to more or less a completed stage on most of it. I mean, we're missing the custom assets. That's the key thing to remember here. We are missing custom assets. I'm still missing a custom Crofton depot. To be fair, that's actually not a bad placeholder for now. But I think I do want to get a custom one still made, because I live in Crofton, so it's kind of, I'm going to like have some sort of mental breakdown if I don't get the custom depot, I think, because I'm that obsessed. So yeah, you got the Crofton East Junction here, where the sand train to Monk Breton goes off. And you got the sign, which is here, which is Callum has made, which is fantastic for framing screenshots with. So yeah, since I think episode 20 we were here, and in episode 20 we had all the VP trees still here. Now obviously it's all changed, it's now DTG trees. And another idea that I've adopted, I got the inspiration for it from the Wherry lines and also from the ATS Peterborough to Cambridge route, was having the route sort of in a high summer feel in crop fields. So instead of just being blank terrain, if it's a crop field, obviously it's livestock, you can't do it because it should have sheep and stuff, and you're not going to have them buried by grass. But in crop fields you can put grass in, and obviously it's a bit difficult when it's on a hill. You can see there sort of on the left what I mean. But having them full with grass and stuff like that, it just looks so much more alive in my opinion. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but to me, it just feels a lot more alive. And I really like the feel of the, as I said, of Wherry lines and ATS's Peterborough Cambridge route. So for me, it's something I've been really eager to try out, and I'm quite happy with the results. And again, this is something that's come about as well by not using the VP trees. It doesn't all... When you're using the VP trees and you try using all the DCG foliage, it doesn't match. The idea with the VP trees is use the VP grass and it looks really good. Start mixing and matching it, it doesn't look quite right. The trees are way darker than the grass and everything, whereas this, for me, fits in pretty nicely. I'm quite pleased with how it's looking. It's not 100% there for me, but I'm pretty happy. So yeah, we're coming up to our Charleston now. I've tried to use different grass colours, so it's different looks to it. When we get into some future episodes, I'll show you exactly what I've gone about. I have literally just copied the method from fruits, and so I've just tailored it to my own style and liking. Yeah, just copied the ideas from other people because they're good ideas. This is actually one of my favourite sections to do. When I started doing this and I had the VP trees in and I had all the different grass colours and stuff on it, I really didn't like this look. Now I've gone back and I've completely, literally redone all the foliage, essentially. I'm really quite proud of it. Took ages to get it to look half decent, so reasonably proud of that. I just love I love the high summer feel of roots. It's when most people do the scenarios, obviously, so I think it's probably the most sensible way to model it. And that for me again was another reason why I wanted to change foliage, because I love the VP trees in winter, but how many of us actually drive in winter on a regular basis? And I suspect there's not many people that drive in winter more than drive in summer. I love driving in winter because you get the wheel slip factor and stuff like that, but I can live with it not looking quite as good in winter if it looks better in summer, if that makes sense. This is the old station at Street House. Obviously the new one's got to go in yet, because it's got to go in. We've seen all this in episodes before, so I'm not going to faff about too much here. You just see it with the new foliage and the new sort of look for the first time. So obviously I want to show you that. What I'll probably do in episode 22 is I'll have a little drive along the route. But yeah, you get the gist. I've got all different colours in the fields. I've not bothered too much with when these are livestock fields. I'm not, as I said, I'm not doing the livestock fields. But if you're not able to see it from the cab, I'm not bothered too much with it. Or if you can see it from a screenshot point of view, I've not bothered in that case. But where you can sort of see it, I have done it. So yeah, a lot of evenings over the last couple of weeks have been spent working on these bits to change over to DTG trees. Took quite a while to do. These are sort of plain fields, so I've not put the grass in there, but anyway, it's too hilly as well. You can't do that grass thing on where it's too hilly, it doesn't work right. So we're going up through Featherstone, and we'll get to where the limited scenery is in a minute as well. That's up by Pontefract, Monk Hill. We need some custom stuff at Tanshaw, so that's why there'll be a bit of a gap. Obviously we need custom bridge and then station where the footbridge comes down on Tanshaw station, so that obviously needs doing as a custom asset. There's no way I could realistically do it as a non-custom. If I really wanted to try and kit bash it, I could, but it'd look terrible. But yeah, this is another place where I was really keen to try this grass idea out. So you got the cornfield in the back, and then you got these fields over here. And for me, it just gives you that feel of it being an August afternoon or something like that, which is the idea I wanted to go for. There's a bit of bleeding terrain there, which I'll sort out. And again, I've not bothered just there because you're down here. I might do it in the field, I'll see. I'm not too concerned about it because it goes so deep into this cutting. As we come over the summit of the bank from Street House there, we go down the cutting. Pretty basic tree lines and stuff down here, no special going on. It's 2D obviously outside of the main line of trees. This is where Tanshaw station needs to go, so obviously this is nothing here. This is all basic as well because I only started this, as I recorded this yesterday, is when I started this. Now at Monk Hill we need a custom footbridge. I'm not going to get custom platforms for this one. I've decided I don't need them. The other ones are floating platforms in real life, as in on Blackwood stilts. So I do need custom ones of them because we ain't got up that's suitable. But for this one, this platform is reasonably good. It's not perfect, but it'll do. The same with the shelters, it's not perfect, they'll do. The footbridge, you're going to get a custom footbridge, and we're going to get some custom signage. And I need to place the clutter-like benches. But yeah, this is the first look at Monk Hill. I only started it yesterday, so it's obviously really basic. Now, the reason this is all covered in grass is because I've brought the terrain up to ground height, up to platform height on this side. Obviously, with the way the terrain mesh in TS is, it means that there's now terrain on the track. Now, what I can do to clear that is I can place a tunnel decal, which makes terrain transparent, and I can place it between the platforms, and because there's track blocking it, you won't see the fact that there's a hole in the there's a tunnel decal there. The way I always have to test to see if TS is going to be like, whoa, sorry mate, not loading your decal today, but it should be okay. I've used it in other places and it's been fine on JT routes, so I'm hopeful it'll be okay here as well. This is an area that I spent quite a bit of time last night working on, getting this access road in and actually trying to put the grass down the middle of it so that you can see the tyre tracks for where the vans and stuff go. Just trying to give it that personality, that look that I want it to have. Something that I'm quite keen for it to get. So yeah, I think, to be honest guys, I might leave it there and we'll take a little trip along the line in episode 22. And then we've got a couple of episodes in the bank, so to speak. And then episode 23 I can carry on with the scenery here. Because I've not actually taken you for a drive along the route yet. We've not got much on it. Obviously not much speed limits and stuff aren't fully set and everything, but I can give you a drive along it to Kirkgate at least. So we'll do that in episode 22. I'll just put a break in here. Cheers very much for watching episode 21 guys. Don't forget to keep up to date on the Wakefield to Knottingley route for regular screenshots and stuff. And the latest Manchester route for that matter as well. We showed some of Ashton Moss the other week. Don't forget that you need to go on to our Facebook page, which is On Track Simulation Facebook page. You can check out Tom's stuff as well, Having a Loop and stuff like that. It's all on there. Company and Coast. Please do consider subscribing. Give us a like. Any comments you've got about route building, any requests you want, anything you want to ask, any of the tutorials that you need that we've not covered already, ask away, and if I can cover it, I'll cover it. But yeah, cheers very much for watching guys. Don't forget to check Tom out on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/trainsim_TV. Cheers guys, see you later. Bye.